time. Loading up, going deep, picking. He's got it! Oh, come on! Down, Prescott gonna launch it, going deep. CeeDee Lamb makes the catch!
Hey, look at that. Look at that, Dylly.
Here we go.
Here we go. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. What a fun, intriguing month. Maybe a little bit longer than that. We might be brainstorm some things around a couple of months ago, and about this, what about that? We have the SSR turns spaces over there at X. We got of course, the storyliners spaces going over there at X, and the season was upon us, and it's like, man, so what are you doing this season, Dylly?
I said, Nix, what do you got going on? What are you doing, buddy? We're chilling that space that one night, and I said, I got an idea, brother. Let's talk about it. One thing led to another, and here we are, ready to roll.
Saying I have an echo, so give me just one moment.
I don't hear. Do y'all hear an echo from me as well, or is that just Nick's? Bear with us while we work out the kinks. This is why we're doing this very first live episode.
Is there still an echo, guys? Let me know. Oh, I think there is. Yeah, there's definitely an echo. Let me figure it out. Dylly, take it away.
The pressure's on now. The pressure's on. Now, I'll just thank y'all for joining. Y'all been great on Twitter, on YouTube, on the Discord. By the way, I got to put the link in the chat here for the Discord, but we got a Discord going on, so you guys can jump in there anytime, chat it up with Nix, myself, bunch of other Cowboys fans, Cowboys storyliners. We got a whole thing going on Discord, so check us out over there. I'll throw the link in the chat here soon. But yeah, man, we're excited to get this thing rolling. We really are. We talked about a lot of different ideas, and today I think we're going to do some fun stuff to start, but predominantly this is going to be OTA talk and Schottenheimer press conference talk. So, Nix, good? You got this fixed?
Except for the echo that was here for me.
We still got an echo on Nix. We good? I don't hear an echo on Nix. So I don't know what's up with that.
But I am hearing it coming through. Maybe I was telling you before we got started, like, man, I can hear myself talk. I thought it was weird. Although when we were doing the recording earlier and messing around, there was nothing there. Allegedly. So, you know what I'm going to do? I got this. Hold on. Goodbye. Brand new microphone that I just bought that sounds so good in. And now I'm going to sound like crap the rest of the time. And we'll figure it out later. All right.
Oh yeah, I do hear your echo. I pull up the live feed. You definitely got an echo going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Spaces going over there.
That's something.
Mm.
That's something. That's cool though. That's cool. That's cool. You gonna switch the audio to your? You talk to your AirPods for this one?
Okay, let's see if I still echoing.
I don't hear an echo, but the audio definitely doesn't sound very good.
No, it's not because I'm in the AirPod now.
There you go. I can hear you better when you're yelling.
Oh my god! Am I still echoing though? Because I can still hear myself as I'm talking. Yes, it's still echo. I don't.
Do you know what it is, bro? You know what it is? You probably got your microphone on your computer going at the same time as your microphone on your headset or your actual microphone.
Wait a minute.
Because if it's going through both your mic and your headset, it's got to be something with your computer microphone, is my guess. Yeah. Or you got this pulled up on YouTube or something?
No.
Are you able to leave and come back?
I'm probably so. I mean, I'm going to have to at this point. Sorry, everybody. I'm not really sure why the echo's happening.
Let me hang on a second. You know what it is? Hang on, Nix. Stop for 1 second. Okay, now try it.
Okay. Hello. Oh, wait. I don't hear anything of myself back. What happened? What'd you do?
It was our Schottenheimer screen share that I had loaded up. It was pulling your audio through that screen share because I had that little button check marked. So,
I should have pulled that, though. I mean, did you have YouTube up as well? Well, hold on. Let me go back and sound great again, then.
Nah. Yeah, let's get your sexy voice back.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's.
So that was my fault. That's crazy. It wasn't anything to do with you. That's nuts.
It was so wild that from earlier. I was like, "This is so crazy." Schottenheimer in the building and in the first run. Let me go back to something. Yeah, we did it. Hey, we absolutely did it. Try to get a screen share up here. Yeah, okay. Little screen share action. We'll get back to that screen share in a second, though. Let me go.
Quiet, Robbie. Don't tell anybody. Nobody's got to know that it was my fault, except for the people here with us right now.
Let's try. What about now? Hello,
oh my
Bob
God,
here.
Dude, that sounds so good.
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. See,
all right, so welcome to the podcast.
I knew it wasn't my fault. Exactly. Thank you. All right, so all right. So yeah, about 2 months ago, y'all, we were saying, "What are you doing this season? What are you doing?" Sort of so forth, and then now I'll get to a nice short condensed version now, since I'm not echoing anymore, and simply put, we looked at some names around it, came through. We were, bobbing and weaving, if you will, in the coalition. All right, it's kind of what we came up with, and we're excited to kind of take, ultimately, for those who've been around in the spaces, whether it's, as it starts turns or the storyline spaces, anything of that deal. And what we do there, we want to bring it over here, obviously, centered around, obviously Dallas Cowboys football talk and community, right? We want everyone to be a cog to the coalition and what we do here, as Dylly was talking about on the backside of that, the Discord and things we're going to be able to do there and where it's at. So we're absolutely looking forward to expand the horizons from what we do there into YouTube, but being interactive in multiple ways, and looking forward to have some great guests and talking some good football, getting y'all involved in the show in the best ways that we can. Super excited. So, but for those that maybe don't know you, Dylly, by all means, we'll roll out the red carpet before we get into some of this Schottenheimer OTA talk.
Yeah, so I'm posting the link, speaking of Discord, in the chat right now. So join the Discord there, join the conversation at all times, during the day, every day, whenever you feel like chatting some football, hop in there. But yeah, man, a lot of you guys know me from the spaces. I do a lot of stuff with the Cowboys Storyliners. So for anybody who doesn't know, that's Nick Eatman's podcast he does on DallasCowboys.com. Been calling in there this is his third season now, I think it is. For about 3 years, built a pretty big community over there, and I helped to bring that over to the Twitter communities, and we helped build it even bigger over there. Grew that, kind of partnered in an unofficial capacity with him, Chris Beam, some of the other guys, and built a good community over there. And it's been great having Nick's along for that ride as well. He's helped to prop us up over on the Twitter side and the communities and all that. He's kind of the spaces master over there, as I'm sure a lot of you know. And, we're talking about it, and we decided to bring those communities and combine them and bring them over to YouTube, where we can really kind of expand and expand our capacity in what we're able to actually provide and do and talk about here. So the plans for the show, moving forward is you'll have us two every week, right? We plan on going live every week, releasing videos, all that. But we also plan on having guests too every single week. And so that's you guys. So every week, or maybe every other, whatever we haven't worked that out yet as far as the timeline goes and how often we want people on here. But quite often we plan on having guests on here. So that's going to be you guys. And we're looking forward to chatting it up as we go along here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might know me from Stargate, you might know me from Pick Six Sports, you might know me from As the Star Turns, or those spaces over there on the grander world of X/Twitter. If not, and you're seeing me now, awesome. I hope you're going to be entertained, enjoying our community and what we're going to do here, not over just the upcoming season, but as we move forward, as we expand and grow and do things, man. So I'm super stoked to be here. I see a lot of familiar faces here. I see Kyle Mack in the building. What's going on over there on X? Robbie in the building as well. Stats, what's going on? My guy Stats in the room. Chris, was good? Excuse me. Oh, look. Even Mama Nix. Look at there. Even Mama. Hey, what's up, Mama? I always shout out to Mama when she comes by. I was going to be on my P's and Q's of what I'm saying.
My mom doesn't watch my stuff. What the heck, dude?
Cuts as always, and was letting them know it wasn't my fault. Cuts got my back. Rest of the bros, fair. Chris, appreciate y'all as always. Just a quick little shout. Of course, as you're coming in the room, make sure you do hit the like, and hey, make sure you hit the sub. And if you're on any other platform, the Dallas Cowboys Coalition, come over here, drop us a sub as well too. So, what a time to be alive on a Thursday. For my video game heads out there, obviously they just went through the Madden and college football releases, right? And then hey, it's us also coming out and releasing Echoes Be Damned. But also we had a little Brian Schotty action, a little Schottenheimer action presser today as OTAs were rolling and getting underway. And it's always fun to hear what he's going to talk about. Football is back, if you will, when it comes to that. And my guy Spoonie, dominate, celebrate, absolutely, brother. He mentions a couple little things that were like, oh, okay. I think some things were also talked about that, okay, no big shock as it pertains to that. So we figured we would go through the Shoddy presser with y'all and kind of react to some of the things he said, the bigger things, and go through that as we get started. And let's hopefully this time, fingers crossed, no echo.
Yeah, I'll need you guys to tell me if, and maybe Nick, you can just tell me. Can you hear this?
I got you. Nope, cannot hear it.
All right, so I have to share my audio like I was doing before.
They should be able to share just the audio of the tab, though, not the overarching audio. It should share tab audio, something like that.
Chrome tab. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Got it, my boy.
We got it. Here we go, baby. Hey, look, we're cleaning. Look, it's OTAs. Look, it's about us getting cleaned up here. It's not regular season yet for me and Dylly. It's not regular season, okay? He's in a new platform over here in StreamYard and where it's at. We're working through the kinks right now.
It's going to take 2 or 3 episodes to get this going. This is more of a warm-up trial run. All right, we're kind of taking it easy right now as far as the actual content we're delivering. This is trial, and then we'll get into it. But for now, let me know. You should be able to hear this.
I want to congratulate Tad and the PR.
All right.
We in there now.
All right, I'm going to make this full screen. We're going to roll with it and just jump in whenever you want, man.
Let's do it.
Team on the annual Pete Rozelle Pro Football Writers Association Award. You guys think I do this all on just personality? It's the prep that you guys do for me. So, yeah, golf clap. I like that. No, they do a great job.
Absolutely, Rick. It is OTAs for Nix and Dylly.
Don't make me cry.
He was talking about the meeting.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about you guys.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. George Pickens, has he been here this week with you guys?
No, he has not. As you guys know, it's voluntary. Communicate with GP yesterday. He's got a football camp this weekend that he's doing. So communication's been good, and as you guys know, it's voluntary, and he's taking care of his business.
Those conversations, indication that he'll.
Okay. All right. I mean, Pickens. All right. Big shock big shock here with Pickens. Not involuntary. All right, he's at a camp. It's a little kid camp. You know,
the wrong camp.
Well, very true. Not the camp we need him at, but hey, Pickens loves the kids, right?
Not a big deal at all.
No, I mean it's not. Look, it's not mandatory yet, right? It's not mandatory. Now, the question though that I would have, we'll see what the follow-up question is here because I haven't watched this entirely yet. I've been pretty busy today. You know, I wonder. You know, communications being had. Is that Shotty? Hey, GP, you doing good, man? And then it's a respond of just maybe a thumbs up emoji. Like exactly how deep is the rhetoric between them?
I'm sure this has been communicated that he wasn't going to participate. I feel like this is probably, and I don't know what the point is they're trying to make because he's going to be at anything that's mandatory. He didn't sign his tag just to go and opt into these fines. So he's obviously going to be there at the mandatory stuff. I just don't really know what the point they're trying to prove here. Like get the last word in, I guess, before the real show starts. I mean, what's the point of him missing?
I mean, in Shotty's, at any point in time, right, he's getting asked about it. His conversation has been pretty much the same. Now, of course, look, as a beat writer, as a media member, I mean, do you need to ask those questions about a guy? Sure. I mean, you never know what you're going to get as an answer, right? So you throw it out there just to see what you're going to get. So I do, I guess, understand that side of it. That smoke screen, I see that, Mr. Stats. But again, yeah, it's not mandatory right now. Again, as we've talked about this extensively through the spaces and everything, it's like, look, as soon as this mandatory is not there, wake me up, right?
Yeah. If he misses the first day of the mandatory practices, that's when this becomes a very big news situation at that point. But again, he's not stupid. Mulugeta's not stupid. There's a lot of money on the line here. And if he was going to miss any time in any of these mandatory camps, mandatory practices, he wouldn't have signed his tag. It's that simple.
I mean, here's the other one, too. Let me ask you this. For me, as long as he's there day one in Oxnard, I'm good. To be honest, like I do understand that if he's not there at the mandatory camp, what's that, the 15th through the 18th? I think that's what that is. Not mistaken, somewhere around there, right? If he's not the mandatory camp, mini camp, I'm sure there's going to be some rhetoric, right? Absolutely. I think from my standpoint, I don't know if you feel the same or not. To me, I don't. As long as he's there day one in Oxnard, then I'm kosher. I'm good. Is it going to make a difference for you, Dylan, if he's not there at the mandatory mini camp stuff?
I think it's just it's a point of it being a moderate distraction at that point. Something the media is going to jump on. Does it affect the locker room? Probably not. Nobody really probably cares. Like you said, as long as he's there by training camp, that's the important thing. But again, he didn't opt in to these fines. Or he didn't sign a tag just to opt into these fines. He knows that he's got to be where he's got to be, unless he's excused for one reason or another. Which again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll be there. I think it'll be fine, and it's a 0% concern for me at this point.
Shout out to my guy Tommy over there, rich gang connoisseur for years over on my personal channel. Well, sir, you got to get off that Facebook. You got to get over here on YouTube because we will need some rich gang members, okay, aka the mod squad for the coalition. We need some riches to turn them cogs at times. So by all means, sir, make your way over here to the coalition, the Dallas Cowboys coalition on YouTube, and get in here so I can get you rich gang, baby. Yes, sir. The mods extraordinaires. Yes, sir. Absolutely. But let's continue.
Let's do it.
Be here when it's the mandatory session?
No, we haven't discussed that, but I expect he'll be here, and I think he's in a good spot.
Haven't discussed that.
Again, I know he's handling his business, and
I bet.
I know he misses his teammates, and so we miss him too. You guys know how we feel about him. We love him, and this is just part of the business.
Got one more. A lot of expectations on Caleb Downs. We haven't.
If you're tired of constantly switching glasses,
oh yes.
try this.
Why?
Commercials included here.
Robbie, you're right. It is
You're
much
out
ado
there
about nothing.
reading
It's the
glasses,
Cowboys, Robbie. So
inexpensive
anything that is
progressive lenses.
any
One
bit
pair
of
is all you
news,
need.
it's like the biggest news ever.
Had
So
practice and pads. Sometimes you feel like let's slow down a little bit with the hype around him because we haven't been in pads and those times. Even though you
don't slow the
he's a
hype
smart
down
guy
around
and those
Caleb
kind of
Downs.
things.
Keep the hype going.
No, I think expectations on all high draft picks, Calvin, are real. They're all probably also a little bit too high. There is a transition period. There's going to be mistakes that are made. I thought one of the greatest compliments you could give a young player is they don't repeat mistakes. Like if you tell Caleb one thing, he's made mistakes throughout the course of phase 2 and OTAs, even the last couple of practices, but he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And I think that's a very, very good thing for us and the Cowboy Nation. And because at the end of the day, you don't want guys that repeat mistakes, because once you learn a skill set and you're corrected on something, it's cool to see them make those changes.
There is not any sort of bigger praise that you can heap on a young player and a rookie than that, especially with what we know Parker wants with smart guys, high IQ players, which we didn't have or we were lacking last year. Not to call anybody stupid, but obviously people were in the wrong position repeatedly all season long on defense. And so to have a young player, first-year player who, like you said, doesn't make the same mistake twice, comes in ready, probably already knows the entire playbook like the back of his hand. To have that on the field as a leader for the next decade plus is such an outstanding thing that we haven't had in I don't know how long, man. I'm so excited for this kid. Words can't explain how excited I am about Caleb Downs.
No, like I call him CPU. He's just downloading data all the time, processing and getting there, and right just aligns with that, right? Hey, he's not making the same mistake twice. Right, what you said, you can heap a better, compliment to a young player this early into this and where we're at right now.
Yep. All right, we'll keep this thing rolling.
Clarence Hill, DLLS. And before I get to my question, I want to piggyback on one of Calvin's questions. Pickens, what do you know about his throwing sessions with Dak, and did that stop when y'all
goes
started
Hill.
the OTAs and team stuff, or was that before? Or they
Always
still
leave it to
doing
him.
that?
Yeah, I mean, there's still communication going on. I'm not sure exactly what they do. You guys know Dak does a great job working with all the guys, whether they're here, whether it's this time of year, whether it's in the summer. They always go someplace. They'll go someplace this summer and train and throw, and it's a chance for them to develop their timing. But in terms of the specifics of it, I don't know exactly what this looked like.
Housekeeping, who's going to be available to participate, and that we're going to see out there, who's not because of injuries, and where are those guys at?
Yeah, you guys will see most of the guys.
Just remember where you got it from, Robbie.
We've got a few
Give me
guys
the
that we're going to
credit.
be smart with, Ezaraku, Deron Bland, some guys like that, again, you'll see them throughout the next couple weeks advance into more individual drills and stuff like that. But a few of those guys we're going to be really smart with. But right now we're pretty healthy, and most of our guys are in a good spot. And the two that jump out at me right now would be Deron and Easy are the guys we're being mindful of.
Yeah, here's the thing to keep in mind about OTAs too, is that like you really can't take a lot away from this. This is like you're doing some installations, obviously, and all that, but you're learning what's expected of you, especially for these younger guys, how to practice correctly, how to correct your mistakes, what the coaches expect. This is just a big learning session, and there's not a lot of you're obviously always competing. But there's not a lot of competition as far as like it's this guy's job or this guy's job, and this guy just took a leap over this guy. There's not really much of that going on right now, other than the mentals and knowing you don't want to be a down roster guy and start getting your mentals wrong right off the bat. I mean, that might put you in a bad light with the coaching staff at that point. It's off to a bad start for you if that happens. But this stuff is really more mentals, and you can't really compare what this player is doing versus that player at this point in time.
Completely agree. Completely.
All right.
As a head coach with a first-time coordinator, how do you handle CP? At his first time being a coordinator, do you not say micromanage him? Do you oversee? Do you let him have it and you take offense? How does that relationship go, and how does that look on the practice field?
Yeah, I think I would say it's not as much about CP. It's more about what I've learned, going into year 2 as a head coach and doing the good, better, how on myself, and areas where I feel like I could have been better last year in terms of early on. I spent so much time with the offense because Clayton was a new coordinator that I didn't really do as much on the defense. And then when the time I got over there, I felt like it was a little bit too late in some regards. We made some changes, but at the end of the day, the product wasn't good enough. I'm not a micromanager. I'm an opinion giver. And if I give you the same opinion multiple times, I suggest you follow through with those opinions. But CP's been great. Again, everything that we've experienced that you guys have
Eberflus.
the way he runs the meeting.
I told you, Eberflus. We need to play this 5-man front.
And it's a compliment.
That line was tough as hell, dude.
He doesn't need a lot of words.
Oh my
to get
goodness.
his point across.
You did it 3 straight games, then you didn't do it for 2 more, and I had to get you up out of here.
Right now, it's been fun for me to talk to some of the offensive players and they're excited as well.
Brian, Todd Archer with ESPN. When you see the Rams acquire Myles Garrett the other day, got me thinking about the pass rush here. What's the confidence level that you guys have in what you have on hand now? Do you need to go out and add players? I know you're going to say it's 24/7 and you're always looking, but what's the confidence level you have in the guys in the building to be able to affect the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start with Donovan Ezaraku going into year 2. I mean, there's a reason that we felt so highly of him last year, and then you look back at knowing that he played the last number of games with some ailments. You go out and get a guy like Rashawn Gary, who I've been blown away by his professionalism, his leadership. He's a grown-ass man. You just watch him work, and he understands what work ethic takes to be a great player, and I'm really, really excited about that. Malachi Lawrence is picking it up really, really quickly. We're very excited about that. James Houston, there's a lot of guys, bringing T. Wheat back. And it is, we're going to go through this process. I'm very pleased with where we are. Marist is doing a great job for us at outside linebacker. He's had some really good rushes. Now, I say that, Todd, there's restrictions in OTAs of what you can do. Like, there's always a halo around the quarterback, but there's even more restrictions of it's not real football. It never will be real football. So I'm going to hold my praise, but I'm very pleased with the guys that we've added, and I'm pleased with the group.
Is it about the group and not the individual in some respects? And is that what Christian came from when he was in Philly? I don't know if you looked at them and said there was one dominant pass rush that they had.
I think some of the best pass rushing teams that I know we faced, don't have necessarily one guy. It's easier to shut one guy down. One elite guy you can pay a lot of attention to, and it's better off when you're looking at Denver's, and obviously Benito put up big numbers, but I mean, they were getting 6+ sacks, I think, from 7 or 8 different guys of something crazy.
Yeah, they
like
put up
that.
70 last year.
I do think it's more of the unit, and that's what we're excited about with the depth that we feel like we have.
So there you go. That's the philosophy behind what they're trying to do here and build up a stable of guys, which seems to be the way you do it now in the league. You look at, and you talked about it before, maybe you can talk about it now, but the stable of guys versus the one player, and the success versus the failures of one method versus the other. I was looking at it today, and it's been 10 years. The 2015 season was the last time that a team with a bona fide stud pass rusher got a ring, and that was DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller on the Broncos that year. The dominant edge player hasn't contributed to an NFL Super Bowl since then. So what are your thoughts on that, the stable versus one guy methodology?
Yeah, I think it's, you say what fits probably what you best have on the roster, right? Because you want to be complimentary to the roster, right?
Sure.
When it comes to that. But I think there are two different philosophies, though, for sure, that, there's more than one way to skin a cat, Yeah. And sure, if you can possess a type of player of a Myles Garrett, right? A Max Crosby, a Micah Parsons. Sure. What organization's not going to want to have one of those guys on there? However, just because you don't have that type of guy doesn't mean you can't go get it done. Now, you have to pack the room with guys to the point you're talking about, or to the point he was talking about, I should say, with Denver. And obviously, Benito was a league guy, but I mean, they had 70 sacks last year. And that wasn't even close. Like, that was a runaway from everybody else in the league, right? And, but you look who won the Super Bowl, right? And the type of sacks they had. Now, they had a room. They had guys in the room, though, right? A multitude of guys, but no one clear-cut, oh, my God, he's this big-time go-getter, And even if you look at New England, who got to the Super Bowl, the Divas they played, Chason was there for a year. He's left. He's in Washington now, right? But they just had a development of guys within there that they could come at you with waves. What they wanted to be strong at, and where they are strong at, is in the middle. It's something I've talked about a long time. Defensively in this league, it's almost like baseball, right? You need to be strong down the middle at every level: D tackle, linebacker, safety. And that's what the Cowboys have really done a great job of doing. I think from getting in, a Clark, Quentin Williams. Sure, there's some questions about the linebacker room. Of course, we'll have those discussions as we get along here. But, I mean, it's the best safety room we've seen in Dallas in well over a decade. So you are strong down the middle with the Israel crew coming into year 2. You drafted the Malachi Lawrence. You did get a Gary, which, it's kind of different when you hear the discussions about Gary. But this is a guy that's going to give you 7 to 9 sacks a year consistently. Like, you can dial up his stats and his pass rushes and everything. He's a DeMarcus Lawrence type, right? That we obviously missed when it comes to that. So there's guys in the room. And, for us, we have to look at the defensive end versus outside linebacker edge. It's a little bit of different philosophy than what we had here in the Cowboys lane. So when you're hearing about Aaliyah Fowl getting off there, Sam Williams being out there, what is he going to bring to the table? We just have to look at it and get after it. But I think right now you feel like you have three guys, and we'll see where the ball rolls as we move along.
Yeah, just going back to the methodology of it all, I don't know which one's easier to do, to find one stud or to find 4 or 5 guys that can rush the passer at any point in time. Sure. I don't know which one's easier, but I know as a DC or an OC, I think the easier one to take away is probably the one guy versus having to know where everybody's at instead of just, you're pinning one guy. And you're like, okay, 3 resources on this guy and we'll call it a day. And that was the issue. If you have somebody across from that guy, you can't really do that, right? Issue Cowboys have had is they haven't had the guy across from the guy to help out or the guys in the middle to help out either. So it's nice to see them taking a different methodology, and I like it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. They have a question from Robbie here. I don't know how much time we'll spend on this.
All right.
Because I think we're all tired of this guy, Micah. But was he a cancer? Let's just give it a minute and talk about it. Go ahead. You start.
Of course, I got a question for you two. After almost a year and all we have heard, what are your thoughts about Micah? Was he a cancer? I was in the locker room, so I'll answer it the best way that I can from that standpoint. I wasn't in the locker room, and there were moments where I've been on record defending the whole podcast thing, where it's at. There's other, players that had some things that differently to say about it and whatever the case may be. Was he a cancer? I don't know. Are we in a better place now because of what we've done with the money that we didn't spend, plus, some of the, capital that we got back, but that's a Clark of the picks? Sure. I think what the Cowboys have done, cancer or not, right? Put that aside. Where the Cowboys are right now, I think they've done an adequate job of what they've received back thus far for Micah Parsons. But as far as the cancer, I don't know. I think he did talk a lot, and I do think that wore on people's nerves. I know Jesse Holly was out there on a podcast a couple of years ago talking about certain things, and he got flamed up for it. And, now there's a lot of the fan base, and this is kind of coming off of him just recently on another I don't know what podcast that was. I guess something that was Green Bay oriented. I'm not sure. And they were going back through the contract for the 18th millionth time. And I'm like, when are we just going to move on from it? Right. But cancer, I don't know. I wasn't in that locker room. I think you got a new head coach. He wants to turn over things in here. They ended up being something that happened, and you move forward, and he's trying to establish what he wants in this football team. And here we are.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they didn't trade him because he was a cancer. They didn't trade him. Well, I guess maybe I'm wrong there.
I mean, feelings got involved. Yeah, feelings got involved
towards the
end.
Sides. Yeah. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Yeah, my opinion was never. I never had a negative opinion of that guy until he laid down on the table. I defended everything he ever did, which didn't really need a lot of defense. To be honest, I mean, having a podcast, so what? I'd rather be podcasting than out, at clubs and doing all this silly stuff. Whatever, it never bothered me. Even when he had guys after losses on there, it never bothered me. It's football. They're talking football. I want more of it. I like it. What got me was the laying on the table. And at that point, I think that was the point where this thing was over at that point in time. So I'm not going to sit here and crap on the guy and say he was a cancer, was not a cancer. I don't know. I know he's a great player, but having that great player didn't result in anything. It covered up a lot of crap for this defense. My guy Eatman says he was a diaper, but I'd rather have a defense that doesn't need a diaper versus having the diaper at that point. And now I said it on the Nick's show today, we're potty training. We're getting out of diapers. We're getting a bunch of guys that can play and don't need guys to cover up for them. So I think they're building this thing out the right way, and that's how we're going to move forward.
For sure.
Show with the Athletic. What was your immediate reaction on Monday when you see that the Myles Garrett trade happens, then later in the day you have A.J. Brown getting traded outside of the division?
Must be post June 1.
If this is the reason
hey there.
Must be post June 1. And all right.
Is this Micah over in Japan doing some sumo?
I don't know. I love the fact we got those commercials going.
I can't even. There's a skip button. All right, skip. Let's just let the whole thing play.
And, no, I mean, hey, it's what you love about it. It's a competitive business, and everyone's trying to get their roster right, and each roster is different, and each roster is unique to themselves. And we feel like we've had an incredible off-season of additions, and I'll let the cat out of the bag on this one. We'll have a joint practice against Miles and the Rams, along with New Orleans and Kellen and those guys. And I think that's because of the relationship we built up with Sean and his staff. And obviously we know Kellen, but we had a couple other options that we were looking at. But we want to go compete against some of the better teams and better players. And you guys know our stance for playing starters in the preseason. So we want to get that work done.
Jeez.
It's funny for me because I now notice last year I noticed you guys are all tweeting things that come out. It's kind of cool. It's a race of fingers. I will say John is very quick. He's very quick. I mean, he's asking the question. Hey, that's pretty good. I now know what you guys are doing. I was like, man, they're really taking my notes seriously. Yeah, multitasking.
So we knew about the Saints, but now we know the Rams as well.
Do you still expect them to be ready
Love
for
getting
the
practice against both of those.
Absolutely, yeah. Both guys are doing great. It's more of us taking precaution and being smart. They both want to get out there, but again, it's OTAs, and it's more important that they're learning the scheme and system and all that as opposed to.
I just booked my tickets out to Oxnard for early August. I really hope the Rams are out there when I head out there, dude. That'd be so sick to see Myles Garrett in person. I'm hoping.
Defense is operating this week. Is there anything tangible you can point to, or anything where it kind of clicked for you, like, hey, this defensive unit, not just the coaching staff, but the unit itself, feels different than it did last year?
Yeah, I'm not going to compare last year. Last year just didn't work, and we know that, and it's for different reasons, and that falls on me more than anybody else as the head coach. And but I'm thrilled with the way these guys teach, the way these guys explain, the way these guys focus on fundamentals. I think you would be remiss standing up here if you didn't talk about the disguise element of it. This system that CP's bringing to us, based up from Vic Fangio and Vance Joseph and guys like that have been involved, like they make you work post snap, and that's a big part of it. And the less movement that the defense does, it tells the quarterback less information, so therefore he's trying to process it at different times, and that allows the pass rush to get home, which is why I think, going back to Todd's question, you see teams like Denver that base out of this system get a number of sacks. It's not just that the pass rush is elite, it's that the quarterbacks are confused. And they're like, oh, I'm not sure if this is cover 4, cover 6, cover 8, cover 2, cover 1, whatever it is. And I think that's been really fun for me to see.
Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know if you know this or not, but Ezraku, and I forget if he was second or third, but he was either he got the second or third most pressures of any rookie edge last year. Mm-hmm. Didn't get home a lot, right? Didn't have the numbers, the actual sack numbers. And what he just described is the reason why. Now, there's times where the quarterback sat that for like 5-6 seconds, right? Unaccosted, completely unaccosted. But there's also times where Ezzy's a step away from getting a sack, but the DBs are 12 yards off the ball. Quarterback sees it, no disguises, knows right where the ball's going. And so with that said, in this new defense and being multiple and the disguises and all that, guys being able to line up in multiple spots, I really think Ezraku specifically is going to benefit monumentally. And I think that a lot of us are underrating the impact he's about to have in year 2.
I mean, for me, it's always, and for those who have been around me a long time, I always talk about these things, is you have to understand what that means, like year 1, year 2, year to year 3. Those are the jumps of players. And even going all the way back to it, I'll bring up Micah just because we had that question with Micah. I remember having that conversation around these same times of the year after Micah's rookie year. I said, I know it's going to sound crazy for a lot of people. I said, but Micah will be better in year 2 than he was year 1. That's just the nature of the beast here. And I think a lot of times as fans of the team and whatnot, we do look at new additions, veterans, whatever the case may be, right? And we'll look at the draft picks and we get excited because, by the way, we do have Caleb Downs, ladies and gentlemen. But on the other side of that, where we get lost in the sauce a little too much about those acquisitions is those year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3 jumps. And look, not that players don't ultimately make strides later down the line in their career, but the biggest jumps are usually years 1 through 3. Those are usually your biggest jumps. You might get a bump in 4 too, but usually those are the biggest jumps. And then, you are who you are for the most part. So yeah, I'm with you on the Ezraku thing here. And even going back into, remember Brad Shemp early in the year was having an interview with Ezraku, and Ezraku was talking about how Eberflus was having the mush rush, right? Like get off the edge, but then sit down, don't go hunt. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be a problem this season with this scheme, that he'll be allowed to go hunt. Unlike at times last year, it's not what Eberflus wanted them to do.
Yeah, that's a great call. Real quick, Scott. Yeah, it'll be VIP at Oxnard. Eatman hooked us up last year. The Storyliners went down and hooked us up with the VIP tickets. So we'll be doing the same thing, I believe, again this year. But I'm hoping I got to clear it with some of the Cowboys guys. Probably talk to me about it. But I like to record some of the stuff and put together a video for you all to see some of the behind the scenes stuff out there at Oxnard. Will be super cool. So keep an eye out for that. Come late August, early September.
Boom.
All right, let's get this thing going again.
Yes, sir.
How much weight at this point in the offseason can you put into quote-unquote position battles? I know it means a lot more when the pads come on at training camp, but what do you get out of, hey, this guy, let's rotate him in with the first team or this?
Yeah, look, we're evaluating everything, but again, I'll go back, it's not real football. The defense does not have equal right to the football. So, it's a hard thing for the head coach to say day one of OTAs, like defensive guys, you do not have equal right to the football. If it's a close play, you have to pull off. And so, again, you're evaluating these guys and how they're picking up the system, how they're moving in some of the individual things. CD's had a great camp. He looks awesome. He's jumping out of his shoes. Kalen Carson's had a great couple days. Love to see the confidence he's playing with right now. And but it is hard, Nick. I mean, it's hard to sit there because if I talk to these guys about you're fighting your asses off for a job right now, then guess what? They're going to dive for balls. They're going to do things like that, and that's not what we want.
Patrick. Hey, Shotty. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. A couple of questions. First being, from the head coaching perspective, obviously you and everyone involved know what the ultimate goal is to get to and to win the Super Bowl. From a head coaching perspective, how do you manage your players' mindset as far as keeping them focused on the goal at hand, but while staying present in the moment so that they can get 1% better every day?
Yeah. The goal is the goal. The goal is February 14, 2027. We want to be playing in the Super Bowl in SoFi Stadium. That's the goal. But we can't do anything about that right now other than have a great OTA number 3. Today's a red zone 2-minute day, so you have to go back to the process. And I think what I've been, again, self-critical of myself is last year I had a saying, the standard is the standard. But, I didn't do a very good job of addressing what the standard was and defining it. What we started with, we've hit the first 2, but really it's, protect your brother, and then we're focusing today is embracing the daily grind. What does that mean? It means you look forward to the next meeting you have so you can learn something. You look forward to the next mock so you can make calls, communicate, see things. You look forward to the next practice so there's a fundamental or a skill set that you improve on. And you have to trust the process. And again, there is a build up to this.
OTAs, trust the process, baby.
If you own a gun, you're probably going to be interested in this right here.
I do own a gun, but
so do I. I'm not going to do that.
Bullet. Yeah, I don't know about all that.
The cool thing is, right now, is if you can get
it's going to be just a regular OTA with afternoon meetings. That's all it's going to be for you guys that get to be there for those all 3 days. But and then obviously a little bit of time off for these guys, and then training camp, same thing. You've got a ramp up period, and then you get going. And once we hit the ground running, we'll have a better sense of truly figuring out position battles and competition and kind of where we are as a football team.
Well, Coach, either you read my mind or my notes because you just answered
Both.
my second question.
Both.
I was going to ask.
That's Tad and the Pete Rozelle award-winning staff.
Way to have a prep, Tad. I appreciate that. No, I was just going to ask, looking back at year one, what's your biggest takeaway? Because there was a lot of good to come out of year one, obviously, especially from the offensive side of the ball. But what was your biggest takeaway that you look back and you say, you know what, I can learn from that, and how can that make you become better in year 2?
Yeah, again, I think there's a ton of things, Patrick. The first thing that I, obviously say is being the head coach. I'm going to be the play caller here. I love being the play caller here. I'm pretty good at it, I think. So that's never going to change. I should never say never. 10, 12 years from now, maybe I will. But, being the head coach matters, and I think it's how you start it. So, like right now, I've been in probably 50% of the offense and 50% of the defensive meetings. Why? Because I think I have to be the head coach. And we talk a lot about Christian Parker in this room, but I cannot talk enough about Clayton Adams. This guy is absolutely kicking ass. He's so much more comfortable this year in his role. He reads my mind, kind of like how I read your notes in your mind of what question you're going to ask me. But let's not forget that we're thrilled to have CP here. But Clayton Adams has proven it not only in year one, but he's even taken another step in year 2.
James, love it.
And that's how you become a successful head coach with a successful team, is exactly that. You got guys that are all on the same page, so that way the head coach doesn't have to do what he did to Eberflus and bitch him out or call him out. I don't know if I can swear on all these platforms or not. But call him out on live TV. Get angry, right? He's just mad. And if you don't have to do that, you're going to be a better coach, just all the way around, and a better team. So it's good to hear.
Thanks.
NFL Network, ESPN, whatever it is these days.
Sounds like a coach's job. I'm not really sure sometimes.
So shared sacrifice is a word that came up when I talked to a veteran about the importance of OTAs, and I realize that they're voluntary, and this isn't a knock on George, but my question is, given how intentional you guys have been about the staff changing this defense, what are some of just the little nuances that someone might miss if they're not here at OTAs?
I think, Jane, more than anything, there's the connection piece that's the most important to me. I mean, this is the time of year where these guys are training. The workouts are a little bit longer. It's actually more about the strength weight room program than even the football, quite honestly, working through phase 1 and phase 2. And I've always believed this, and this has got nothing to do with a single player. How do you prove to your teammates that you're doing everything in your power to be the best version of yourself if they don't see you doing that? I have no question George is preparing, just like I had no question that Micah was going to prepare or whoever. It's voluntary, but that's the biggest thing for me. It's not really the scheme. GP will learn some of the language and stuff that we do, and with he and Dak throwing and things like that, the relationship he has with CD and Joe Milton and all those guys, I don't worry about that. But more than anything, it's just the connection piece. We've got a lot of new faces on defense and some new ones on offense, but that's probably the biggest thing if you're not attending the off-season program that you probably miss out on. Doesn't mean you can't make it up.
I'm not in those meeting rooms, but are there 2 installs when you think about OTAs and training camp? What are you specifically trying to get accomplished in OTAs and in camp?
Yeah, so the way we do it is everybody's different. We obviously went 8 weeks this year. Did not want to do the 9 weeks. I did not want the first week of the off-season program to be during the draft. I wanted to focus on the draft and not be distracted and have our time that way. And I did not want the rookies to miss the start of phase 2 on the grass. So that was the whole reason why. So this year, the only thing that's different is last year we did 9 installs and 3 reviews in OTAs. So we would go first, second down.
I see you,
install, third down, install, and then red zone 2 minute, which is what today is, install. Then the 4th day was a review. Well, we've lost those review days during OTAs. We have a makeup day. Wednesday's our makeup day. It's a phase 2 type day that we kind of hit that stuff. But that's the only thing that's different. And then when we get to training camp, you do it again. So some of the young players are spinning a little bit right now. Like it's moving fast for them because we don't set the installation to them. We set it to the veterans, the guys like Dak, CD, Duron Bland, Demo, players like that, Malik Hooker, and the rooks have to get caught up. But they'll hear the same information when we get to training camp in pretty much the same exact order.
Joe. Joe White, Dallas Morning News. You talked a little bit about Clayton Adams. He participated in the Accelerator program for coaches. How has he taken that next step, and what are your expectations for him as the season goes on?
Yeah, I think number one, very deserved. Very deserving that he was there. I think the NFL is doing a great job with that of getting the right people there, and Clayton certainly deserves it. You can't watch him run a offensive unit meeting and not be impressed with his command, his leadership, his personality. I think where he's really grown is it's been fun for me, Joe, to watch him do the pass install. I think if you would have asked him last year that he was going to do the pass install, he probably would have maybe thrown up in his mouth a little bit. But he's up there just, ripping it. And it's been really, really cool to see. And so he's evolving as a coach.
He means
but I also
ripping
think
it, too.
A lot like how
For sure.
Poor guy's fingers.
I was challenged by Pete Carroll a few years ago. Like, I'm challenging Clayton in that regard. Like, hey, what do you really believe in, man? Like, and I think I see that coming out in him, each and every time he gets up in front of the group. And the respect that our players have for Clayton Adams is unmatched.
You start off with the club going in front of the ball.
I do not play
and
golf.
It starts to go up. And
the disguise element of Christian Parker's game.
Me neither.
Obviously, that
I
doesn't
tried.
show
My golf
everything.
clubs got
How
stolen,
does
so
that
I
start
took that as a
to
sign.
formulate right now? What are the steps taken? And
Well played.
How do you build a disguise defense?
Yeah, again, there's different ways to do it. I mean, some teams, they show, they'll show a 3-high shell, and then they'll move back to a shell-based quarters, cover 2, whatever it is. Some guys starting a shell-based, and they go down to the 3 deep. What I like about our system is everything comes out of that umbrella look, and I think the key is the more the defense moves quickly, that gives the quarterback more information. We're always looking for tells. Hey, this guy gives the tell if they're clouding that side or what they're doing, the understanding and the way that he and Derek Ansley, Ryan Smith, and those guys are teaching not just the corners, the secondaries, but the linebackers with Scott Simons and Shadera. The mannerisms matter, because if the weak side linebacker, or the dime as we call him, if he's giving away the fact that the safety's coming down, well, guess what? It doesn't matter how good the disguise is in the back half, because the linebacker's telling Dak or whoever what coverage it's going to. So it truly is a full unit that has to be aligned, and that's what I see so far.
Matt. Matt Engel, Fort Worth Star Telegram. I have 2 questions. I've heard coaches in the front office people say in the past that if a player's going to turn into a really good player, you're going to know by year 3. I don't know if you agree with that saying or not, but if you did, where does Tyler Guyton sort of fit in that trajectory as he's developed?
Yeah, I think I think it's different, to be honest with you. I think, usually you have a pretty good sense by year 3. But I was around Rich Gannon when he was a backup in Kansas City, year 6 or 7, been through Minnesota, different places, and next thing you know, the guy's playing in Super Bowls and winning MVPs. And each position's different. That's a quarterback. What I will say with Tyler is, Tyler understands the importance of this year. Why? Because it's the next year, and we're going to make Tyler earn it. Tyler and Nate Thomas right now are competing to start at left tackle. Why? Because we think that.
Whoa. Little.
What do you think about that, Nix?
Wait a minute, a Guyton Thomas battle? We got a battle here upon us?
That was 2024, right?
Yeah.
2024 draft, right? Both of them.
Yeah. Okay. A little
First
battle
round
action.
pick, 1st round pick, 6th round pick, right?
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
That's a terrible sign, Nix. I'm gonna be honest with you. That is not what you want to hear.
No, right? I mean, what you're wanting is, the guy that you picked going into year 3, be pretty definitive, right? Pretty definitive as your guy there at left guard. But now, I mean, boy, you say competition. Now that's going to get people excited. Now, how excited are you? The competition, as you said, from a 1st and a 6th round pick. I mean, there it is right there. See, Iron Sharpers. I shot to Scotty in the building.
Is it iron? Are we talking iron? Or are we talking like copper? What are we talking about? What kind?
Well, I mean, we might be. I mean, we might be talking about guys that need to stay healthy, right? Because I mean, if we go back
100%.
over there, I mean, because Jones was. Who said Rob Jones? Who said that's Nate? But neither here nor there. I mean, he was out of his rookie season, right? Was that the wink? We're stashing, whatever. Not sure about that, right? Not sure, Obviously, Guyton is not yet be able to get through a training camp healthy. And even once he gets to the regular season, right, he's missed games, due to health. So, your best ability is availability. But, I mean, if you want to get a player attention, hey, this guy's got opportunity. And we saw that during the year as well, though, last season, right, with Nate getting some opportunities.
Yeah, Tyler was pulled. He was healthy enough to play. He was still had some nagging injuries, whatever. He wasn't injured. He was just hurt. There's a difference there, right? He was hurt, but he was well enough to play in these games. But he was pulled because he had multiple series with multiple penalties. Just wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. So he got pulled. And now here we are this year. And in his defense, he hasn't had a full training camp healthy yet. So step 1, stay healthy in camp. And he's going to get, that being Guyton, is going to get the benefit of the doubt 100% of the way, because he's the higher draft pick, more money involved, blah, 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 higher ceiling. I think this is a shot across the bow, though, for him. This is a warning shot, right? This is it, buddy. Or else you better pee or get off the pot at this point.
Well, I mean, if we're just going through, sure, Shotty was here on the staff, right? but he wasn't the offensive line coach, and he wasn't the de facto offensive coordinator, right? You know, was Guyton a guy of his? Right now, we kind of get into that. You know, there are politics that get played, obviously, when it comes to these things, and frustration with some of the health stuff could be there for sure, right? Whenever it goes to that, I'm just saying, in general, you know, is there a little bit of that at play? I don't know. I mean, but if you want to get a player's attention, you know, the old, you know, the Zen master kind of way of things. Look, I got an opportunity to drop something here in the presser at OTAs. Pads ain't coming on. We're doing 7-on-7, not line drills right now on day 3 of OTAs. Then, yeah, man, he's got an opportunity, right? You know, that's where it's at.
And I don't know if he necessarily needs a wake-up call, right? Like a lot of people are saying this is a wake-up call for him, light a fire, blah, blah. I mean, from all the reports, he's in the building working hard. He's a hard worker. Sure. He's not slacking off. He's just had some bad luck with injuries, hasn't played up to what you'd want out of your first-round pick. We all know he was a developmental guy when they drafted him, so it was going to take 2-3 years to get going. But his development just hasn't even occurred really at all whatsoever, very little, just because of the injuries. So going into year 3, for whatever the reason, whether it's injury or play or whatever it might be, he just hasn't panned out just yet. Yeah. So he's got really this year, next year on his contract. They're not going to pick up the 5th-year option, I wouldn't think, right? And so he's got this year really to prove himself. Next year, if he doesn't, they'll be shopping for a new tackle, in my opinion, whether that's draft or free agency or trade or whatever it might be. You can't really find these guys in free agency or trades on the left-hand side, but they'll try to figure something out next year if it doesn't work out this year. This is really it for him, in my opinion. Oh, you muted your mic.
I think the timing of that comment is interesting, though. You know, I mean, it's early. I mean, so if you want to get it out there and get it rolling, so be it, right? I think Shotty's probably had those conversations with those guys, though. I mean, he's pretty straightforward when he comes to those things and be able to have those conversations. But every conversation maybe you don't necessarily want to have out there on the timeline, if you will, and how things work. So I do think it's very interesting this early on in the process here. You know, and the question was players going into year 3. So he didn't, you know, and Guyton, those things. And he could have said a bunch of different things about Guyton, right? And we love the development where it is, right? A whole bunch of different ways it could have went other than, he's in the competition right now. He didn't have to go that route. And I don't think Schotty, I don't think any of us take Schotty as a guy that's not calculated, right?
Right.
For him to say that this early on when he didn't have to, there's merit there. Just don't know how much of the merit there is, right? And where it's at. Yeah.
This is very, very calculated. He came into this presser ready to drop that bomb, I think.
Right.
So good on him for having a plan too. I love that. I love that. It's a calculated move, and we'll see. Shout out to Sue. He says it's going to be very telling to see how he responds, that being Guyton. I agree. From everything I know, I think he's up to the challenge. He's a guy that works hard and all that. But I've also said that it looked like he had his confidence shaken a little bit last year when he was getting pulled out of these games. That's why he's committing penalties multiple plays in a row. Just a guy who didn't look confident. And so your coach kind of calls you out. Is that confidence shaken, or is that going to get you kind of on the right track? And I guess we'll see. All right.
Well, didn't expect that out of this presser. Good stuff. Let's keep going. What else are we going to get?
Going to get the best out of Tyler Guyton.
I bet that's the bomb. That's the big one. But let's see.
Tyler's biggest thing is the consistency has not been there. Very talented, maybe one of the most athletic, big men I've ever been around, with his ability to kick, slide, punch, move, run. But there's got to be more consistency, and that's been the challenge that he's been working extremely, extremely hard on. And I was in here the other day, and Saturday morning I had to stop in and get a couple things, and there was really 2 guys in the building, Phil Maffa and Tyler Guyton.
Oh,
our laundry sheets are mixed, rolled,
well, I definitely do laundry
right here in Kentucky.
I don't. I just throw my shirts away when I'm done and buy new ones.
Nice.
Go ahead. The other one is,
Back off.
The other one is, you've been in football now forever, and you've heard all this noise about this franchise, and specifically Jerry
Bingo.
Jones, and you come here, you live it, now you're the head coach, and you hear all these things that are said about him, at him. Sometimes it's not too flattering. Now that you've been on the outside and inside these different jobs, what do you make of all that?
Again,
that the reason why this franchise hasn't won a Super Bowl is because of him.
Yeah, again, I'm a huge Jerry Jones fan. I don't say that because he hired me. I don't say that because he could fire me tomorrow if he doesn't like my comments. I'm just a huge fan of him. He loves the Dallas Cowboys. He loves the National Football League. He really works incredibly hard to get it right. I think he's probably the best listener I've ever been around. Like, I've said things in meetings, and a month or two later, I've said something. He's be like, "Well, that's not what you said." And I was like, "Uh-oh, you're right. I didn't say that." But like, again, at the end of the day, the Cowboys haven't won championships, but there's been a lot of people involved in that, and we're trying to fix it. But like, I'm a huge Jerry fan. And I do think that some of the criticism that he takes, it comes with the territory, just like when you're a head coach, it comes with the territory. But at the end of the day, what he's brought to this organization, what he's brought to the impact that he has, is really cool for me. I'm going to go off tangent for a minute, but like, we had Legends Day last week. I don't know if you guys knew that, on Friday.
Real quick, I just want to say I really appreciate how much of a politician Schottenheimer is, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's been able to build this thing and get in good with the Joneses in the front office and get along so well. I don't want to say he's able to manipulate them, but the way that he speaks and the way that he operates as a politician, because there's politics in football, man, he knows how to talk to the Joneses and how to operate with the Joneses. That's one of my favorite things about this guy.
No, completely agree. I mean, it's just from the standpoint it's just from the standpoint of he makes them feel included, right? No matter what's going on and everything, makes them feel included, right? And I mean, that's just one of the things. Even go back to Garrett, and he talked about this on the podcast prior to Shotty being hired. Just talked about, Dallas is a unique situation where you have to communicate up to the front office of what you're trying to accomplish, and also down to the team and what you're trying to accomplish. And even when, as far as say, when we were able to be as close as we could be to those things, they had good years. When they weren't able to, it was indifferent. So yeah, I think the great part for Shotty becoming the head coach was he was around here long enough to understand the lay of the land. He didn't walk into the lay of the land very blindly. He was here for a few years. He understood how things operated and how he needed to go about things here to accomplish what he needed to accomplish. And he's been very diplomatic, Dylly, to use your politician take there, in how he's went about it too.
Yeah, you're not going to win in an arm wrestling contest with the Joneses, right? It's just not going to happen. He's the ultimate. Right. Jerry's got the ultimate say in everything, and so you got to work with him, not against him. And
bingo.
What's the saying? You attract more flies with honey, right?
That's there you go.
I was trying not to say a Jerryism there. I think I succeeded.
Incredible turnout again. Over 30-something, 35 guys were here, and to hear those guys, a lot of their admiration for Jerry was really cool, and what he's done for them that no one wants to talk about and no one probably needs to know away from the game of football. That tells you a lot about the man himself. So it was a great turnout, and it was cool for me to visit with different past legends. Mark Stepnowski said something really, really cool. He talked about how hard it was the last time he ever took off his pads, and who that really impacted the most, it impacted a lot of our guys, was Dak Prescott. Because it's real. Like, you take your pads off and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm done. I'll never play this game again. If you're a tennis player, yeah, you can go beat the ball around a little bit. You can go basketball play, shoot free throws. But like in our game, once you hang them up, you never can put them back on.
One quickie, Tommy.
Oh. Pause.
Pause. I was going to say pause.
Tommy.
50% portion of the defensive rooms and those meetings, and when you're in OTAs and practice settings, how can you grow
with
as
the
a
pause
play
off
caller,
quick, he's
seeing
nasty.
different look defense?
Can I just say, Tommy's one of my favorite guys, bro. So for him to get the pause, that's hysterical. I
don't know if there's another football coach in the land that's going to use pause at a press conference this year. We need to make sure we get a check mark on that. We need a running thing to see if any other coach slides a pause in on someone, because Tommy came out with a quickie. And the funny part was, you'll go back and watch. I was about to say pause I was saying pause in real time before Shotty came in with the pause. I was like,
he's one of us,
my coach
bro.
knows balls. Yeah, my coach knows
Schotty's
ball.
one of us. I love it, dude. I gotta tweet Tommy. That's hysterical.
What a possible offense. That's great.
Compared to what you saw last year, just evolving your offense.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to evolve all the time. I'm studying a bunch of defenses, but listening to Christian and the way they teach their coverages is helping me understand math. Everything that they say defensively is about changing the math. They want to add a guy here, which again is great for one side of the defense, but on the other side they're weak. And so learning another system, and a system that I have a ton of respect for, having played Vic and just listening to CP coach has been great for me. But at the same time, I'm constantly studying the league. I'm studying some of the top defensive minds in football and trying to figure out why they're good. Because if we don't evolve offensively, which we will, if we don't evolve offensively, then the league's going to catch up to us, and we're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, to your point there, Ski, you're not wrong. This is the first time that he's going into camp, presumably healthy, that being Guyton. So that's a first off, that's a first step in the right direction to hopefully get through a whole camp with your health. So hopefully you're right there. Hopefully that contributes to some consistency and a healthier season.
Good.
We can do one more.
Oh, okay.
One more.
Brian Schottenheimers of The Athletic. You mentioned being able to work with the defense more this year. Most of your career, you've had offensive positions, but your first year here in 2022, you worked with Dan Quinn quite a bit as an analyst. How much did that year help you more, develop an understanding for defensive football and just that side of the ball at the NFL level?
Yeah, I loved it, number one. I thought it was great, but I think, my personality side is one where, wherever I'm sitting, I'm always trying to learn, and I'm always trying to add, value or information. So one of the cool things for me, and I did this last year, I did it probably too late, is add my expertise as an offensive coach. So I try to explain things when CP or the defensive coach are up there talking. Here's why we're doing this, and here's why we're moving this tight end to create a advantage for us in the run game or whatever it is. And so I loved my time under DQ and those guys working over there. But at the end of the day, it's been a lot of expertise looking through my pops' old playbooks, going to Steelers versus Browns games back in the late 80s and things like that. I learned a lot about football as well.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. I mean, we got a 6-7. We got a pause. We got a left tackle battle.
There's a bunch of guys with their shirts off on this advertisement on my screen now. So I'm glad I exited out of that one.
Yeah. I get on up out of there. Yeah, boy, what an interesting time there. What an interesting little run there from
I did want to call this out here from Irene, because I am definitely one of these people that assumes the offense will be top 5 just because they're returning everybody. My only concern is the tackles, right? That's what's going to hold them back from that. However, I think it is fair to say that if this defense can be much improved from last year, even just an adequate middle-of-the-road defense, an NFL caliber defense, if you will, I don't think this offense necessarily is going to be top 5, because they're not going to have to score 30, 35 points a week, right? They can not take time to relax, but it's not so much pressure on them. It's not scoring touchdowns every drive, right? So maybe they're a top 10 offense. It doesn't mean they got worse. It just means what's on their shoulders, the burden upon them, isn't as heavy. It's not all on them. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that goes. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, boy, what a time to be live. It's 8 minutes left in the game, and you're up, 16, 17 points. And, hey, let's take the air out the ball here, right? Hey, it's time to go into that quote-unquote 6-minute, 4-minute offense where, all right, we're in control here. We don't need to be in no hurry. We don't need to go get a score, get a stop, get a score. And we're going to run the clock as much as possible here, right? And try to take as much time off the clock as we possibly can, as compared to at times last year, more times than not in the fourth quarter. We used to have to, air it out and run up the score, and we need double, multiple types of scores, and then we would get close, and maybe they give us a score. We had to go back again, right? It was like nonstop. So, yeah, I just think, if the defense gets you to the point where the offense, right, the offense can still do the job, right? You're bringing most people back, and like you said, we were worried about the tackles last year. Big shock, we're worried about tackles this year, right? But execution from the offense matters. Red zone, let's get there,
right.
And that can definitely help you also be in those moments in the fourth quarter where you're not having to run up the score and stuff, because the defense is giving you a little bit more. And that's where I look at it too. Yeah, maybe it won't be a 30-point offensive output average this year. Maybe it's a 27, 26 point, but Your defense is giving up 30. Now they're only giving up, say, 21, right? And you'll take 27 offense versus a 21 defense, right? And you feel like you're going to win more games in that
And
spectrum.
so now in the fourth quarter, you're running the ball out, right? In the fourth, instead of having to go put up 14 points.
Absolutely, brother.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And that's the hope, right? That's the wish we all have.
That should be great. It'd be great to be able to kick some field goals every now and then and not feel bad about it too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks.
It's like, oh, we just lost 4 points.
Yeah,
It's an 11-point swing. Dang it. So, Sue, Dylly, I'm going to be real. I agree, but don't love the politician comparison. Politicians are notorious for saying stuff and not following through. Schotty's a great speaker, but he's been criticized for that. All talk is what he followed up with. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to go that deep. I really just mean that he's able to navigate the waters with the Joneses. I think Schotty, he obviously is calculated. He planned to drop that bomb on Guyton today. He was holding that in his pocket to drop it, to put him on notice.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, maybe that's a bad comparison. But yeah, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that he knows what he's doing and able to navigate the tricky waters that you have in Dallas that you don't have elsewhere. If we're being honest with the Joneses.
Yeah, not to say he's actually a politician, but he moves in a political. All right, we gotta shake hands, kiss babies, right? Do a little extra here and there. Not a true to life politician, for sure.
And he's not full of crap like McCarthy. Not to be a jerk to McCarthy, but I mean he straight up lied, right? In his audition, right? In his interview,
yeah, from the outset,
said all this stuff. To get the job. Right, and that's not what Schotty is. We know what Schotty is, and he's not that. So I did want to ask you. Maybe we close on this, Knicks, because this has been great. I love this. Absolutely. This has been so fun, and I can't wait to do more of these. But I wanted to ask you. Give me maybe one position group that you're looking forward to, not so much in OTAs, but maybe heading into camp as a camp battle this season. I mean, one position group and maybe a name that is your favorite guy in that group.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go, man. I'm excited about several. You know what? I'm gonna go with inside linebacker. I'm gonna go there. I'm excited. Look, I think it's Killer Downs. We got CPU right now. I'm all over that. Right, don't get it twisted. I'm very intrigued by Deshaun Barham. I'm very very intrigued by him. I think when we kind of talked about this in the space about D Winters a couple of days ago, I'm intrigued to see him. And you look at the starts and things that he's had in the multiple positions he's played, the linebacker in San Francisco coming over, what he brings to the table. I'm excited about Overshown. You know, obviously we're scared of is it just going to be Sean Lee? Man, he's probably an all-pro if he just stayed healthy like Sean Lee did. But I think of this defense and things they're going to ask him to do, I think he's going to flourish. So I'm excited for Shamar James. Not talked about enough, and what he was able to do, led the team in tackles last year. How is that going to look? And I think a lot of people are maybe a little scared of the depth there at linebacker. You know, it's a little trust factor there, not a definite what you feel is going to be good. But I'm excited to see him get after it and what they bring out of that room. You know, I think I'd be, I don't know, more concerned to other positions or not. I'm excited to see how that room shakes out. So yeah, I'm looking at linebacker. Deshaun Barham might be the guy that I'm looking forward to the most out of this draft class. To be honest, I'm very excited for him.
Yeah, that linebacker group was what I like to call a yum-yum sandwich because in front of them, you've got some real nasty guys on the defensive line, right? Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, all those guys. Even Rashawn Gary off the edge, he's obviously really good in the run game. Ezraku was good in the run game. They got a bunch of guys that can keep these offensive linemen off their backs, right? And then behind them, you'll have a mix. They'll play a lot of nickels, so maybe Downs won't technically be behind them. But they've got cleanup guys, right? With the new safety they brought in, the guy from Arizona.
Which Arizona? Thompson. Jalen Thompson.
I always want to call him Johnson. It's Thompson. Right. I was talking about him earlier today.
They rhyme.
But they got Thompson. They got Downs. They got guys that can protect, behind them. So they're in a good spot where, if they make a mistake, it's not necessarily game over. They're going to have a clean middle of the field, right, to operate sideline to sideline, and that's where D Winters and Overshown and Barham is kind of a wrecking ball kind of guy, right? See ball, seek ball, destroy ball kind of guy. Shamar James, very fast, right, very athletic. So you've got a bunch of guys that can really fly around the field there in the middle, and as long as they can be kept clean, which I think they will be, I think the linebackers are just fine. I think their depth right now today, I think it's all right. I'd like to have maybe one more guy that can play for sure. Because there's some questions with Overshown and obviously the two young guys, but I feel okay about it because of what they have going on around them. So, The position group that I'm looking forward to, it's running back, and I think it was Irene said running back.
But they're running back too.
Yeah, it's who's RB2? We don't know. Is it Abracadabra, right? Is it I can't say his name, so I just call him
Abanaconda. Israel Abanaconda. Gotcha.
Abanaconda. So Abracadabra. All right. So is it Abracadabra?
Close enough.
is it Blue? Is it Maffa? They're saying Maffa is a good candidate to get cut and be a practice squad guy, just kind of right off the bat. We don't know, but I think the hope is for Blue to come out and show out.
I mean, Miles Davis, Malik Davis, Miles Davis, the player. No, Malik Davis.
Yeah, Malik Davis, Miles Sanders, Malik Davis combo. No, yeah. Malik Davis. That's the forgotten guy, right? Because he just kind of shows up, does his job, and then disappears into the ether. It's like you never knew what happened to him, and he just does his job. And so I don't know why he doesn't get enough or more credit for what he does. It's not the most exciting guy in the world. He's just kind of an average guy at everything. Doesn't excel at one particular thing, right? He's just. Nice, Sue. And so I don't like Blue has the speed. Maffa has the power, right? What does Malik have? It's a little bit of everything, but not really excels in anything. But he could be RB2, right? We just don't know. But I think the hope is for Blue to come out, have a really good camp, show he's ready, show that he's grown, and his mind's grown, and he's ready to
more
actually
consistent.
Play ball. Be consistent, be consistent. But I tell you what, if you've got Javonte at 1 and the speedy guy like Blue at 2, you're cooking. And Blue can play and not have fumbling concerns and all. You're cooking. You're cooking with oil. So that's who I've got my eyes firmly planted on as that RB2 position, because it's not like it's just a backup, right? RB2 is going to see playing time. So
and the other question too there is, are they going to carry 3? It's just going to be 2. I mean,
Lipke,
I think
right.
You got the Lipke, obviously situation there, but you've watched the Cowboys here for a while now. Just really have 2 on your active roster, right? Would they be willing to go 3? That would be something that will answer throughout the process and what they're trying to get to and accomplish this year. So I would lean that I think it'll be just 2 and some guys on the practice squad. But you get through OTAs camp, they might say, look, I think we're going to keep Maffa. We're going to keep Malik and Blue, right, along to go with Williams. So I don't know, but I'm with you there. Obviously, they want to see one of these guys that they drafted last year walk through the door, and obviously, it's probably headed towards Blue more than anything. But I think everybody gets a fair shake at it, and it's going to be a very intriguing conversation as we move throughout here with the competition.
Yeah, and you mentioned Lipke. I mean, that's the ultimate piece right there. Even if he doesn't get used a ton, which I wish they used him a little bit more, because it seems like every time he touches the ball, something good happens. It's not like a big run, but like it's a first down, or it's like a nice hit, whatever it might be. It's like he makes good plays happen, and so I'd like him featured a little bit more. But he gives you that kind of H-back role and that flexibility where it's like he could be fullback, he could be running back, he could go play out as almost like a tight end type, right? So he gives you that flexibility where you don't need to carry necessarily 3 running backs. He could be your RB3, and then you're good there. So I'm excited about the running backs, dude.
Absolutely. Well, that gets us a little over an hour. Not too bad. Not too bad for the first run. We started out a little shaky. We had echoes going the whole night. Look,
my bad.
OTAs. Oh, no. OTAs, we bounced right back. Hey, look, we bounced right back and had a good run of it. So, man, we appreciate everybody. Sitting at 244 right now. Man, I appreciate everybody that came through. And, of course, you're anywhere other than YouTube, right? The Dallas Cowboys Coalition. Come over here, hit that sub button for us. We definitely appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And, look, if you like this style, this is kind of the template. It won't be always us, okay, here's suppressor. But we're going to do suppressor things here and there when we're going to get after it. We'll have some guests and whatnot. But, what you see is what you kind of get from me and Dylly. So if you're into this platform and what we're doing, we're looking to expand upon this. We're just getting started. We'll be live every Thursday. Was the Dixie's voices crazy work? But yeah, this is live. We'll be live every Thursday, and there'll be other content as well too, right? Hey, this is the first show. Hey, welcome in, Wrench Gang. It's first. Hey, all good. First show, and look, we'll also be upon dropping other content that's not going to be live all the time either. So I mean, it'll be a full service kind of channel here of us giving us our thoughts and reacting and doing everything within that spectrum. As we move forward, man, we're excited to get after it and have a good time with everybody.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to shout out to, because Irene brought this up, I want to be clear with the storyliner stuff. That'll continue. I'm still doing the spaces over on Twitter for the storyliners.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going away. I'm just shifting some dates around. I've got a crazy busy schedule, and so I'm trying to fit a lot into a small amount of time. So I'm planning on doing those spaces over on Twitter on either Fridays or Saturdays. I don't really know yet, but just if you can follow me over on Twitter at Lord_Dylly, and you'll see the Cowboys spaces for the Cowboys storyliners going up. I'll announce it beforehand, and we'll get live, and then you can talk over there in a group of 10 different people at a time, and we can talk football and cut it up there. So keep an eye out for that.
Big thanks. Yeah, guess what? We don't have an outro yet, so the only thing left to do for us to do is say appreciate y'all. Peace. And hey, yeah, catch us over there, me or Dylly. We got spaces going all the time, man. At your guy Nick's, or I guess I should put the ad. I should be like you, put the ad in front of there. Yeah, see, that's why
Brain works, my dude.
Man. Yeah, big thanks. Look, as I'm hitting the intro, it's like, hey, set an outro video. Well, I don't have one, not yet. Okay, I'm in the stream. It was a very average show.